Namaskar. As you all know, RIS was established in 1983, and the purpose behind the establishment of RIS was very clear. It was realized at that point of time that a new narrative is required to understand the process of development being faced by the southern world in the system. The small video that we are going to present you will give you a snapshot of the purpose of RIS and the recent and present activities of RIS in tune with the main objective behind the establishment of RIS. Given the mandate and the intent that RIS has been following, it has been appreciated by people from all walks of life.
Colleagues, participants, and friends, let me begin by commending the efforts of all the institutions that have participated in today's event, led by RIS on the Indian side and CIPPEC on the Argentine side.
It's a pleasure to address this gathering on one of the most topical issues of our present time, that is the post-pandemic economic cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. I appreciate the efforts made by RIS for developing countries in putting together this event under the current circumstances.
We always prayed for the collective happiness and collective prosperity and collective well-being. Again, a very ancient Vedic prayer is Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Manansi Janatam. It means, let us, O Lord, let us all Sangachadvam, we must all march ahead together. Samvadadvam, we must consult and have a conversation with each other and express yourself collectively. Samvo Manansi Janatam. Let our thoughts be common, we must understand each other. And that is the spirit which has guided the people of India for millennia.
Vasudhavya Kutumbakam. Seemingly it is a very simple two words, but reflecting very deep philosophy, inspiring generations of many generations, not only in India but also across the whole subcontinent.
There are 4 pillars of RIS research program. They are global economic governance and cooperation, trade, investment and economic cooperation, trade facilitation, connectivity and regional cooperation, and new technologies and development issues.
Trade is an important pillar of RIS. Its work program covers numerous issues in the realm of multilateralism, regionalism, and bilateralism. I am privileged to be part of RIS team working on trade-related issues. In a recent study, I was engaged with a RIS team to examine the possible ways of dealing with the growing trade deficit with China. The study found that by changing the sources of imports and indigenizing some of them, India can restrict rising trade deficit with China. RIS prepared a series of studies on COVID-19, and my paper examined the impact of the pandemic on the external sector. The study forecasted steep decline of the external sector in the first quarter. Recently, I have examined the impact of BIMSTEC on its member countries. The relevance of the GVC sector and the growing international trade in the region are discussed. In another study, India's trade linkages with 4 South Asian economies such as Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Maldives, and Iran are examined. the proposed PTA with Iran and a SEPA with Bangladesh can further improve India's bilateral economic ties with these neighboring states. RIS signed an MOU with the IORA for promoting academic activities among member countries.
2020, though exceptional, was conducive to intellectual work because we had the opportunity of working from home and undisturbed, but at the same time absence of resources and colleagues to support did have its effect. The multilateral trade continued to engage huge tension, and our work on WTO was manifested in participation in a chain of events organized by various other organizations, as well as producing our own e-commerce issues at the WTO discussions and in India, advocating a balanced approach in rulemaking that ensures sufficient policy space to countries to safeguard their vital national security objectives, protects the fundamental rights of their citizens, and meet their developmental needs while eliminating barriers to enable sustainable national and cross-border issues. On the global trade governance, we are working on a chapter on emerging institutional configurations and contestations for the World Trade and Development Report, which RIS is about to produce. So it has been a reasonably satisfactory year.
This year we witnessed significant strengthening of RIS G20 program. Besides consolidating the program under one dedicated pillar, we have launched G20 Digest, a quarterly publication to help shaping ideas and perspectives on future presidencies of G20, including India in 2023.
What is India's agenda in the next 2 years? I think this year we will forget about it. We are already now overtaken by the coronavirus, but we've got the Italian presidency followed by the Indian presidency.
Key inputs to frame the agenda. So I really congratulate RIS. We'll create a network of different kinds of institutions, whether they're universities, whether they're NGOs, whether they're academicians, whether they're scientists, whether they're environmentalists, whether there are people who have technology.
Faculty colleagues have been very active in contributing policy briefs and deliberations in task forces of T20 Saudi Arabia. On BIMSTEC, we recently hosted the 5th BNPTT meeting virtually, and we have created a dedicated BIMSTEC web page which would serve as a regional platform for knowledge sharing, networking and aggregating academic inputs for the BIMSTEC cooperation agenda.
2020 came out very productive. We had several publications. We contributed to several conferences, seminars, webinars. We organized events, provided some policy inputs to the government. Let me present some of them briefly. In terms of events, we had a 4th year's conference on maritime security and cooperation in Chennai in February. We organized the 6th roundtable of Think Tank Network of ASEAN and India in August, which was attended and addressed by our Honorable External Affairs Minister and Thai Deputy Prime Minister. We organized an international webinar jointly with ICWA to commemorate 20 years of Mekong-Gonga cooperation in November. In terms of publications, we published a major report called ASEAN-India Development and Cooperation Report 2021, which was released by Secretary East in the MEA.
The year started with a conclave in the Northeast with focus on SDGs, in which we contributed a number of chapters. Then with the advent of COVID, the work was more focused to start with on food and nutrition security, on which we contributed a policy brief, and our SDG work continued throughout the year. A major area of work in 2020 was on G20, in which one paper for Task Force 10 on food, water and energy nexus was selected by T20 and presentations were made by them during the year. It was very well received, I should say, and we later on gave a blog also on this, as well as there was a side event on early child care and education. That was also very critical and an added advantage from the angle of G20, for which we are making preparations when India gets presidency. Beyond that, we contributed to Niti Aayog on their index, how to improve the SDG index and dashboard for Niti Aayog, as well as to ERIA, one paper was sent on measuring the distances to targets on SDGs.
In 2020, my first paper was on COVID and multilateralism, which was published in the RIS diary. In second, it was followed up by a discussion paper on multilateralism, basically analyzing its various facets, the trade multilateralism, UN as a system, as also health multilateralism.
This year we witnessed the fruitful outcome of our flagship project Asia-Africa Growth Corridor, which was conceptualized at RIS and by RIS with contributions from partner think tanks in Japan and IRIA Jakarta.
Indian and Japanese research institutions have come up with a vision document. I congratulate RIS, ERIA and IDE JETRO for their efforts in putting it together. This was done in consultation with think tanks from Africa. I understand the vision document would be presented at the board meeting later. The idea is that India and Japan, with other willing partners, would explore joint initiatives in skills, health, infrastructure, manufacturing, and connectivity.
I take great satisfaction in reporting some very significant highlights of the SDGs work program at RIS. Before the world shut down, RIS in February successfully supported the Niti Aayog as knowledge partner for the Northeast SDG Conclave. This was an opportunity to play a leading role in the development process of the Northeast. The report prepared by RIS has been extensive and comprehensive, connecting development and prosperity in the Northeast with India's Act East paradigm. The report has been widely circulated and is to be formally published by the Oxford University Press. Second, the most significant addition to the RIS work program on SDGs this year has been RIS's official induction as part of the National Initiative for Mapping Science Technology Innovation for SDGs, being spearheaded by the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor. With support of the Office of the PSA in June, RIS successfully hosted in virtual format the bilateral STI for SDGs dialogue between agencies of the Government of India and the Government of Japan, as well as the follow-up workshop with UN Interagency Task Team and other stakeholders and partner countries as part of the official process of the UN Technology Facilitation Mechanism. Follow-up academic work has progressed well under this project, and new webpage and Twitter handle has been launched to disseminate the outcomes. We also remain connected on issues of technology and industrial policies, starting with disruptions in supply chains globally, and thereafter on key questions of self-reliance. Post-pandemic imperatives for SDGs, as well as on questions related to WTO reforms, have been my areas of focus as well. Some of my ideas have been captured as policy briefs and interventions in webinars. We could conduct the iTech IEIDP program in February in the physical format. Last but not the least, being part of the RIS flagship initiatives like the WTDR and the G20 have been extremely inspiring, with a very high point in terms of publication of the T20 Saudi Arabia policy brief. I close with warm New Year wishes for every member of the RIS family. Thank you.
Hi, I am Krishna Ravi Srinivas. I coordinate the Science, Technology and Innovation Program, and I co-coordinate the Science Diplomacy Program at RIS. The Science, Technology and Innovation Program in RIS covers inter alia, intellectual property rights, digitization, science, technology and innovation for sustainable goals. Besides, it also covers emerging and new technologies including synthetic biology, genome editing, artificial intelligence and robotics. RIS is part of the India's pilot project on science, technology, innovation for sustainable development goals. And under that road mapping project, we have made good progress this year. I participated in the UN event on SDG and STI held in Vienna, and I was a panelist in the session. We published policy briefs and articles on STI issues this year, including ones related to COVID pandemic and also on intellectual property rights. A webinar discussion on the volume Socio-Economic Impact Assessment of GM Crops was organized. 3 articles were provided to India's Science, Technology, Innovation Policy process as inputs, and these were published as RIS policy briefs. A webinar on Access, Equity and Inclusion and Science, Technology and Innovation was organized.
RIS's Science Diplomacy Program, funded by DST, started 2020 off with the 4th ITEC training course for 30 foreign participants from 25 countries in January. Despite the limitations due to the COVID pandemic, the program activities continued, adapting to online modes of work. The peer-reviewed journal Science Diplomacy Review published its issues in April, July and November. It attracted increasing interest and contributions from authors across the world. We hope to make this a leading global journal on science diplomacy, projecting especially the concerns of the Global South, where issues such as achieving the SDGs are a matter of priority. Our fortnightly science diplomacy alerts were issued regularly to keep our readers abreast of the latest developments. New sections on COVID-19 and on science policy and diplomacy were added. A total of 23 bulletins were published till date. Each bulletin is extracted from a scan of over 4,000 news items and reports on science, technology and innovation in the global media. Work on building networks of institutions continued, as well as on the database of Indian diaspora STEM professionals. Webinars were held with Vietnam, and the STEIP lectures resumed in online mode, attracting much greater participation. A review of India's bilateral S&T agreements indicated considerable scope for strengthening cooperation, especially with the developing countries.
Good morning, friends. The main areas of research activities with the Health and Wellness team are 1. Public health, healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, development cooperation in healthcare and public health, and 2. Traditional medicine policy studies, studies relating to medicinal plants and the forum on Indian traditional medicine.
Hello everyone, I will be taking off from where Professor James has ended, and I will be giving you a brief overview of the programs and studies that are going to be undertaken in 2021 for FITM. So firstly, we have a periodic journal of FITM with peer-reviewed articles and papers on traditional medicines. This is about to be launched soon. Secondly, we have two new studies that we are going to undertake. This includes a study on multilateral cooperation on traditional medicine system, including in select African countries. This also involves a review of the legal instruments and opportunities for cooperation. Then there is a study on Ayush MSMEs and the challenges and prospects for their domestic and international growth. Thirdly, we have a project on the medicinal plants that we are undertaking with the National Medicinal Plants Board, and with whom we've already signed a non-disclosure agreement.
I'm happy to be heading the RIS initiative on the Global Development Center. This initiative seeks to create an alternative development paradigm and narrative that draws on the relevant experience of the developing world. 2020 was a catastrophic year, and the impact of the virus is still unfolding. It was no surprise that it impacted our initiative as well. We could, however, complete the capacity building programs on women empowerment, as also the training of agriculture scientists from Kenya before the lockdowns arrived. Despite the obvious challenges, the lockdown provided us opportunities to innovate and consolidate.
So we were able to identify what are the areas we can take back home from India's flagship programs as well as the new initiatives.
The world needs us now because we live in an era that is scary. Gunfire resonates louder than public discourses. Dreams are blocked by walls. Love sometimes is forbidden, and hate is too often promoted as a government policy. But don't worry, because the world has us. And the challenge is huge, but our dreams are huge too. And always remember, eat the cake, always forward, not a step back. Thank you, RIS. Thank ITEC program. Thank to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Thank you, India. And thank you, colleagues, for this amazing experience.
Concluded that coming together with them would not have been possible without RIS making this platform a possibility.
In 2021, let's hope we enter a better world. And one of the sine qua nons of a better world is that we should be able to have the linkage between energy and climate change worked out well. Which is why I hope that in RIS I shall be able to work on activities to basically show how the broader subcontinent can benefit from good energy linkages, basically that works on renewables, hydrogen and every other new technology that's coming up, and hopefully that will be the basis for policy discussions going forward. Thank you and all the best to everyone.
Apart from research, we have a very dynamic and competent administrative team that includes accounts, IT department, publication department and Sukhumay Chakravarti Library. Now I'll invite all of them to give their brief about what are their activities they have undertaken during this year.
Well, undeterred by COVID threat, RIS administration and account side carried out its work with unprecedented commitment and enthusiasm in support of the faculty. We arranged contactless thermometers, a sanibox, face masks, disinfectants, and face shields and gloves for our MTS staff, and ensured observance of social distance and mask wearing by all within the premises. The pay and allowances of all members of RIS were disbursed well in time without any interruptions, and so were the other payments of those of our service providers. We also had the successful audit of RIS accounts for 2019-2020.
During this pandemic time, when the system was at a standstill, we were trying our best to come out of this situation. Initially, we conducted our meeting on portal like Zoom, but it was difficult to cope up with the limited number of participants. Hence, we purchased the WebEx portal from the Cisco and explored the software. Did we expand our physical strength, but also upgrade our hardware and software. We had purchased 10 new desk machines, 14 new laptops and strengthened our data server and also updated our databases. From CMI, we have purchased the two databases, that's the TradeDX and the Provex IQ. From UNDP, the Comtrade database and the Tariff database. And we have also purchased the MinStat, INDStat and the IDSB from the UNIDO. And at last we have the latest database purchased, the IndiaStat.
Service was upgraded from 30 Mbps to 50 Mbps.
Sukhumay Chakravarti Library at RIS continues to provide the services to RIS faculty members. During the year, we have added books to our collection and also renewed the subscription of 180 print and online journals and archival collection of 290 journals through JSTOR. We also added 5 new journals to the collection: Asian Journal of Technology and Innovation, Third World Quarterly, The Lancet, Development Policy Review and Marine Policy.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year to all. The year 2020 was full of distress due to COVID-19 crisis. RIS contributed 60 publications. These 60 publications including 3 RIS Diary special issue on COVID-19, 5 reports, 15 policy brief, 3 FI team policy brief, 16 discussion paper and 2 special issue of the DCR, one of the Africa and the second on disaster management.
मैं पूरे स्टाफ को जो है एक बार नव में सबको जो है हैप्पी न्यू ईयर बोलना चाहता हूँ। ये 2021 जो है एटलीस्ट जो है ये 2020 की तरह ना निकले और सब लोगों के लिए कुशल मंगल हो। थैंक यू।